They've silenced my last videos about Adam, the serpent, and the curse, and about why we're still under judgment. So that just tells me, because there's nothing wrong with what I said. There's no community guideline violation. None. And they took my voice off. And it confuses me because it's like we're clearly still under judgment. That doesn't mean God supports tech at all. No. Again, he will use it against them later. But it's like why speak up, God? I guess that's the, but there's some reason. So because if we're under judgment, is there any reason to speak up? Because obviously the official Christian narrative is the only thing that we're allowed to go with, which flies in the face of what God wanted. God wanted you to talk about this because you're talking about him. He didn't want everybody on the same page. Look at that's what's caused all the churches to drop off. There's no engagement. I mean, they try to getting people engaged by, your mega churches making it all, sound, lights, and stages, okay? God wanted the engagement of people talking about his word. Not just, we all have to agree on this or God is going to be angry. And I don't know where, I've said I don't know where Trump stands with some of this. I really don't. I really don't. That's not me saying, he's wicked. I don't think that. I just, I think that even he has, believed whatever his church says. Yet what I'm saying makes sense. I think, and this is what makes me sad. Is I think that man, especially wealthy men, would rather have their kingdom than God's. I've said it before, it just makes me sad, and it makes a lot of sense. It's just, there's some of us out here, we don't want man's kingdom anymore. God promises a place of no suffering, no toiling the earth, no haves and have-nots. If anything, in God's kingdom, all those wealthy would be on the bottom and we'd be on the top. So can you see how the wealthy really, as much as they may love the country, of course they want you to put the country ahead of God in many ways. Because Jesus literally said, in my Father's kingdom, the people on the bottom will be on the top. I mean, even if if I was somebody wealthy, I might sit back and question that. What's it to hurt if I delay God's kingdom? Or what's it to hurt if I'm going to believe my own set of lies and believe that I'm instituted and I'm a noble, and it's like, then you have to deny many parts of the Bible. Or you literally have to deny things Jesus said. I used to think when I was younger, and this because of the churches, every generation has always thought it was their generation that would see, the book of Revelations play out. And really all of them have, because the book of Revelation has been playing out ongoing since John finished writing it. However, every generation goes through that. And I remember when I was young, okay, like in my 20s. No, even younger than that, like late teens, 19, 20, something like that. And I remember, hearing people talk about, God's returning. And I thought, I hope God doesn't return until later. And I never sat back and thought about, Why would I want that? Well, because the churches had convinced, I was born and raised Catholic, so it's probably mainly there, even though I've never believed God was in that church, because just, I knew it, he wasn't in that church. But this belief that, because it meant I can't have my life. I had my whole life ahead of me. If God comes back, the churches, even many that are not even the Catholic, but have gone on to make people believe that somehow your life is ending. Somehow you won't be able to get married or have kids or have all these dreams. And it's like, and I've realized, since walking with God, how absolutely backwards that is, how absolutely horrid it is to have made people believe that. Because if anything, the young, the old, everybody should want God's kingdom. He doesn't say it's just over. No, it's over for the wicked. It's over for the suffering. It's not over for your life. It's not over for you getting married. It's not over for you you have an even more fulfilled life with happiness and not of stress and suffering and toiling and tears and yet that's what I thought. So part of the reason I do videos is to let younger people know that has been a lie. If anything, you want God's kingdom. Your life doesn't end. Your life only gets better. That is, if you're with God. But that's what the churches had me believing. So when I was younger and hearing people or the news, whatever it was, talking about this, I thought, well, God, I hope you wait long enough so I can get married and have whatever dreams I had then. And yet that's what all the institutions of the churches have done. And I look back on that like it was so backwards. I remember exactly where I was at, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to get to have my life anymore. Because they've convinced people that, oh no, you only get God's kingdom once you die. And that, God coming back means everybody's going to die. But then you read it for yourself and you're like, no wonder the church, that's what I mean. The churches have served the government. So this is why God didn't want everybody on the same page. He wanted the people that truly seek him, and he knew the people that were truly going to seek him were going to be the people on the bottom. Because they would be waiting for him. They would be hoping for him. They would be hoping that in their lifetime, they would be blessed enough to be able to say, it was in my lifetime that God came back. God brought his kingdom. Which is why it's always been the wealthy that control every society. And nothing against the wealthy, but they would be the people that likely would maybe want to make their man kingdom as nice as it can be for you, and even then they can't do it, but because it keeps them on top.